Hey there and welcome back to The Sims 3. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of this attempt to fully complete The Sims 3 World Adventures. As we watch Sanat complete the first wish of the episode, a quick recap of last week's adventures. With Fabien, we traveled to France to clean up a tomb he visited previously and to help with trouble at the museum. There he found a hidden passage that led him to the old museum curator, sadly entombed in a sarcophagus. Fabien completed his quest by laying the curator's remains to rest at the cemetery and spent the rest of his trip practicing his nectar-making skills. Today we are likely in for another stay-at-home episode, since Sanat would be up next to visit Egypt but is still on travel cooldown, so we are having him and Yooni spar a bit. This will not only improve his martial arts skill, but it also helps Yooni get closer to a skill challenge she needs to complete. In the meantime, Fabien has traveled again, but only to the library this time, to read a gardening skill book. This will fulfill a wish of his, and we want him to at least reach level 7 today, so that he can both revive plants and plant special seeds. The money we're currently losing, by the way, is William sending off metals to be smelted, and just like that, Sanat is a level 2 martial artist. A short while later, William joins Fabien in the library to read a cooking skill book. A high cooking skill means better meals, which in turn means higher mood bonuses, and with William providing for his young adventuring party, that will surely come in handy. Just as Sanat reaches level 3 in the martial arts skill, Fabien improves his gardening skill to level 6 and can now switch to the expert level skill book. While back home, Yooni and Sanat are still sparring. Yooni is winning most of the matches, but not all of them. But wins and losses really don't matter in this case. She just needs to participate in a total of 75 sparring matches for the Sim Fu King, or Queen in this case, skill challenge. All of this is a rapid skill booster for Sanat though, who has already reached level 4 in the martial arts skill now, as well as level 6 in the athletic skill, while William improves his cooking to a respectable level 5. Back home, the sparring session has ended and Sanat breaks the toilet. A slight issue since Yooni really needs to go too, but maybe she can hold it in until Fabien returns to repair it. The youngest of the household is currently visiting the cemetery to fulfill his wish to harvest a wild plant, so I thought, why not a death flower? Who knows what that might eventually be good for. While he makes his way back home, Sanat had a quick nap and can fulfill a wish to train with the board breaker now. This is the trouble with maxing out the photography skill so quickly. There is currently not a whole lot for him to do, as most remaining photo opportunities require quite a bit of setup. Fabien then is busy unclogging the toilet, but as you can see, sadly not in time. Yooni has a slight mishap. It might be time for Fabien to slap an upgrade onto the toilet so that it doesn't break. Speaking of breaking things, a little later in the evening, Sanat also breaks the shower, but that one will have to wait until the next day, as one by one our Sims all head off to bed, but there's plenty of work still left to do. William is then up first on the next morning, although I'm not sure you can really call 2:30 AM the morning. Nonetheless, he makes his way over to the library again. More cooking experience is needed. Fabien is up next, starting his day by fixing the shower, and shortly after reading a few pages of the nectar-making skill book to advance to level 8. That was also all the time he needed until his garden springs back to life. As you can see, a lot of the plants have already matured, and it will only be a matter of time until he can bring in the first harvest. Sanat then begins his day with another wish. He wants to work out for 4 hours straight, so let's use the radio to complete that. Yooni is hopefully so deep in her meditation that she won't mind. At this point, we can also quickly take a moment to sell off some of the valuables we have assembled over the last few episodes. Not all of this we need to keep. I would like to display all the new gems and metals and other collectibles, but collections that we already completed in the first series all those years ago, we don't need to collect again, I think. So by selling off rainbow gems, money bags and valuable titanium, we can increase our household funds to over 20,000 simoleons, more than enough to start the next building project. At the end of the last episode, Fabien had the wish to build a Nectar Cellar, so let's construct one using the Basements tool. It's pretty simple, and we're using the same shape that we have above ground. The tricky bit will eventually be the construction of usable stairs going through the foundation above, so we need to build the cellar first on the part of the lot that hasn't been built on yet. The stairs then go into the middle here, and then we build the foundation around it. Unfortunately, the game really does not like doing it the other way around, and even if you remove previously built foundations, you are more than likely going to get error messages when attempting to place stairs down into a cellar. There is also one more thing to pay attention to. While we can place a floor tile here without our Sims clipping through when walking downstairs, we cannot build a stairs from the foundation leading straight onto the basement stairs. There needs to be a tile of space between the two stairs for our Sims to stand on, otherwise the stairs cannot be used at all. And with all of that, the entire thing now looks nice and symmetrical, but as you saw, it is a little finicky to get all of this set up just the way you want it to. Let us then complete the two new gazebo areas with steps into the central yard and fencing all the way around, and then move on to the basement itself. First of all, some lights please. We're going with the proper wine cellar style for this. For the walls then, traditional European brick wall sounds perfect, slightly tweaked and create a style for a more sandstony look. The floor meanwhile will be wooden boards for that nice rustic appearance. Then we can already move in our nectar maker and the shelves, and I also changed the color of the floorboards again to better match the dark wood of the stairs and the furniture upstairs. Let me know what you think about this and which of the two versions you prefer. Upstairs then, we now have room for a proper outdoor kitchen, although I'm still not 100% happy with the results. I also took the liberty of using the Move Objects On sheet for this, just to place the pillars inside the kitchen counters. I think that looks lovely, but it is definitely not going to be a regular thing I do. The rest of the kitchen items is quickly placed. I also put some lights onto the fences around the area, so that we are not sitting in complete darkness at night. And then I moved the martial arts training equipment back to its original place, once I realized that we still need to put our tents somewhere. All of this is of course far from the finished design. Those tents still need better spots. Fabien needs a proper garden. I think I'd also like to put a small pond or sparring area into the grass spot in the middle. The bathroom will likely also move elsewhere, as it is the only full-height structure, and having it on the front of the entire building looks a little weird. But overall, I really like the direction we're going with this. Most importantly, with that, Fabien's wish for a wine cellar is now fulfilled, and we can immediately work on another one, buying an item worth 500 simoleons. Well, how about another nectar rack? Shortly after, he can then grab the mail. Inside a whopping 17 platinum ingots, a good 10,000 simoleons altogether. This marks the wish to buy an item worth 1,000 simoleons, and well, we're going to need it eventually, I think. Let's grab nectar rack number 4. Up next, Fabien will now become a partner at the local supermarket, fitting for an aspiring nectar maker, I think, and another wish fulfilled, just as William reaches level 6 in the cooking skill. For a one-time payment of 7,000 simoleons then, our household is now partnered with the supermarket. Fabien earns a decent chunk of lifetime happiness points, and can go right back in to purchase garlic and a watermelon, two plants that, as far as I know, don't grow in the community garden, but we want to have them in ours. Then it's off to the library for him, while Sanat completes his 4-hour workout. 600 lifetime happiness points are the reward. That's enough to push him over the 20,000 mark, and that means we can purchase a lifetime reward that I think will be very important for him, Midlife Crisis. Yes, we are going to change some of Sanat's traits. The first one that can go is Commitment Issues, and we'll replace it with Artistic. Yes, I know, this might come as a bit of a surprise, but there is actually a new lifetime wish in World Adventures that requires maxing out the photography and painting skills on the same sim, and this trait here makes learning and mastering the painting skill a lot faster. Now, we are getting rid of one more trait, however, and this was not an easy choice. I think that in the end, Charismatic will have to go though, to be replaced by Adventurous. This trait we absolutely need to have, I think, if we don't always want to wait the full 2 days in between Sanat's travels, as it massively reduces the travel cooldown. William is also close to 20,000 lifetime happiness points, and he can get even closer if we buy him a fridge worth at least 600 simoleons. Easily completed, out with the old and in with the new. We don't need to transfer the contents, they will automatically appear in the new one. In the library then, Fabien advances to gardening skill level 7. Back home, we can quickly correct that one set of stairs to align with the others, leaving a bit more space on our foundation to walk across. And then, while we're at it, let's also make some room to purchase an easel for Sanat. After all, that painting skill is not going to advance itself. The first one to paint, however, will not be Sanat, but William. Only for a few seconds, though. Enough time for Sanat to take a picture to add to the Everyday Moments collection. Then Sanat takes over, and we note that Fabien has eaten spoiled food, although that may have been intentional. You'll see why in just a second. For now, Fabien and William chat a little bit to increase their social needs. Fabien also develops the wish to become good friends with William, a wish that is fulfilled just a few moments later as we briefly hover over Sanat and his painting progress. This now gets Fabien to 20,000 lifetime happiness points as well, and that was one of the goals for today. Now we can purchase the Super Green Thumb lifetime reward for even better gardening results. With William, meanwhile, we can construct something, or rather reconstruct. Our young adventurers have collected enough dive well fragments to put a new one together, so let's have William now do that. We are going to place it in a less obtrusive spot though, and then send William in to take a dive, and then we assemble 3/4 of our household in our tiny bathroom. Weird, yes, but this will only last for a few moments. First, William can play model for the soaked to the bone photo, while a short while later the results of Fabien's last meal show themselves. Sanat is standing by with the camera to capture this next photo for the Oh the Calamity collection. Then he goes back to painting, and he's quick to learn the basics. Level 1 is already reached, 575 lifetime happiness points earned along with it. We can also watch Fabien put some new plants into the ground. I wanted to wait until we had the Super Green Thumb lifetime reward unlocked, because that gives us a nice quality boost. As you can see, we are up to great quality limes here. Those should make for some very fine nectar. We are essentially planting every type of fruit and vegetable he still had in his inventory now. The garden will therefore grow significantly. Let me know your ideas for how to design a nicer looking one. At the moment it's mostly about putting stuff into the ground and not so much about having it look pretty. Sanat meanwhile finishes his first painting and can sell it for the whopping price of 2 simoleons and immediately start the next one. It doesn't take long for him to reach painting skill level 2. Only 8 more to go. Let's jump back to Fabien, who has planted some unknown seeds as well as a death flower bush, and is now talking to his plants to raise his social bar. Yes, he can do that, thanks to the green thumb trait. As the evening then rolls around, Fabien can also finally enter his Nectar Cellar. but at least for now not to make nectar, but to tinker with the nectar making machine. The goal here is to advance his handiness skill to level 5, at which point he can perform a crucial upgrade to the machine, and until that's in place, we will hold off on making any more nectar. In the meantime, Sanat finishes painting number 2, this one already selling for 6 simoleons. William heads off to bed after spending the evening relaxing at the fire pit. Shortly after, Sanat also advances to painting skill level 3, so the artistic skill is definitely paying off already. And we can also briefly check in on Yooni, who has been meditating for pretty much the entire day, not only to advance her martial arts skill, but also to fulfill the wish to meditate for 48 hours total. Before the end of the day then, Fabien's unlucky trait strikes again. He breaks the nectar maker with his tinkering, but that is perhaps not quite as bad as one might think. After all, this now gives him the chance to repair the machine, and compared to tinkering, that is a slightly faster way of raising the handiness skill. So, barely an hour later, and Fabien has reached level 5. And with that, he can now mop up the puddles. Sanat and Yooni have already gone to bed, and Fabien is now the last one to enter the tent, and we can make the cuts in today's episode. As we are zooming out to see the entire lot here, please feel free to drop any building suggestions you may have in the comments. I am always looking for inspiration on how to improve our setup here. I am by no means a talented builder in this game, and if there's anything you think would suit this playthrough well, I would be more than happy to hear it. Above all though, I also hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, you can also go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.